Welcome back to Gaijin Hideout. I'm Jeff. With me is a very sleepy Jesse. And today, or tonight, we're here to react to Dragon's Dogma 2, Trickster Vocation Breakdown, IGN First. We reacted to the Vocation Spotlight trailer for this on Friday, and we never saw this. So even though it's an old video, we're going back and we want to just learn more about the Trickster Vocation. Jesse's here with me. I just dragged him through a 5.5-hour stream, and I just scraped him up off the ground to react to this. So we're just going to get right into it, though.
Yeah, let's dive in.
We're very interested in the vocation from what we saw. Not sure if we're gonna play it, but we're very curious how it works, and it seems like a good troll.
Oh,
vocation.
absolutely.
So let's just get into it, and we'll see what we think about the details of this.
We got the
Dragon's Dogma 2 offer
the bullshit platform there.
Did it happen again? He did the thing again.
Yeah, he did it.
It must be connected to this guy. Like you must have to set this guy up and then do that, because I'm seeing that again. Like it's distracting.
Okay, yeah.
Dragon's Dogma 2.
Let me see. Where did he jump? He jumped, right? Yeah, he jumps to attack him. It's like interesting. Okay.
Dragon's Dogma 2 offers a wide variety of playstyles depending on what vocation you select. Most of these are the kinds of archetypes that you'd expect: melee sword fighter, speedy dagger wielding thief, ranged archer, and spell slinging mage. And some are hybrid vocations like Mystic Spearhand and Magic Archer that combine elements of one vocation with another for a completely new style of play. But what of the Trickster Vocation? It was revealed as part of the Dragon's Dogma 2 showcase back in November, but little has been shown of this unique class beyond that quick 45-second look and a short description
really
on the Dragon's Dogma 2 website.
I don't know how
Fortunately,
popular
as part of our visit
very
to
curious.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if it's going to be popular or not. I think it's going to depend on like if clips go viral. This is one of those games that's doing a really good job seamlessly integrating into the online space. Like the character creation demo is going pretty viral right now, and they're working with a lot of Twitch streamers and stuff. So if there's something, that's going to get a lot of views or something really funny, I'm thinking like this is going to be the one that's going to have the tears.
Well, this would be the one, Jeff. Yeah.
You remember how Tears of the Kingdom like almost unexpectedly went viral because of the what you could craft?
Oh yeah, all the crazy mechs and shit you could build. Yeah,
I'm kind of imagining like some weird the crazy aspect of the game might happen through the Trickster Vocation, like weird for Dragon's Dogma or crazy for Dragon's Dogma. Like can you get an ogre to fall off a cliff or something? I don't know, but we'll see.
We got to sit down and play with the Trickster for about an hour, and I can confidently say that this is a style of gameplay unlike anything I've ever seen in an open-world action game.
Okay.
Yeah, me too, jeez.
To start, the Trickster is essentially a pacifist. Their chosen weapon, a ceremonial censer, does little to no damage when it's swung at an enemy. Instead,
did he say does no damage?
Well, take that back one more time.
A ceremonial censer does little to no damage when it's swung at an enemy. Instead, the purpose of attacking is to build up aggro and pull an enemy's attention towards you. To that end, you also have a special ability.
So that like pisses them off when you hit them with your gas.
He's an aggro class. Dude, if they pull this off, this is one of the most difficult things to make anyone give a fuck about in RPGs is like the aggro side of it. I don't. Do you guys ever use, you can comment, do you ever use an aggro class in a game? Like almost every JRPG, action RPG, any RPG I've played, I've never done that. I never thought of it like aggro, but I guess that is what it is.
Shroud that sends out your smoke in a wide area and draws a large ability called Suffocating Shroud and enemy's attention towards you. To that end, you also have a special ability called Suffocating Shroud that sends out your smoke in a wide area and draws a large amount of enemy attention towards you. So the question is, why would you want to get a whole group of enemies swarming on you if you can't actually damage?
This duplicate seems like a core ability, given the fact that you're just gathering aggro most of the time.
Yeah, and it's very clearly becoming the target once you cast it. Like there's no confusion. They're all going right for it.
Damage them.
Well, that one moved towards you, but
that's where the word Trickster comes into play. By using the Trickster's unique skill, Effigial Incense, you create a simulacrum. or a clone for simplicity's sake,
Okay.
that enemies will perceive as the real you. This clone has its own health bar and will disappear if it's killed, but you can also teleport the clone to you while it's still alive with the press of a button. This way, you can basically kite enemies to wherever you want as long as you keep their aggro and keep your clone alive.
Very interesting.
Wow.
The fact that you can kite them around, so it's an aggro class and like you're constantly kiting. That's kind of fascinating.
You know, I know we made the shadow clone jutsu reference for this.
Yeah.
But it's more like Kankuro from Naruto. Do you remember that guy? The puppet master ninja?
Yeah.
That was manipulating a puppet that everyone would fight with, and then he would hide off somewhere. You're like a puppet man. You're like manipulating.
Yeah, you're kind of a little puppet master. That's right. Manipulator.
And you got to manage the health bar and the aggro. That's so
you can maneuver a foe to get an environmental advantage, which is super important.
Have we seen this area before? Or did I just miss this gameplay? This is like
I don't know. It looks like you're in the desert area, kind of, but we've got a little river running through here.
Yeah.
Because Trickster shines the brightest when there are cliffs, uneven surfaces, or other elements of the environment that can be used to your advantage. The Trickster has two abilities designed around creating surfaces that aren't really there.
And now this one is super
real to
interesting. The
enemies.
fact that you can create these giant fucking walls.
Yeah.
That the enemies seemingly just can't enter or see through.
Yeah, that's... I'm wondering if this is going to go where I think it's going to go. Like you're just like, you're boxing them in and like making them walk off a cliff.
Environment that can be used to your advantage. The Trickster has two abilities designed around creating surfaces that aren't really there, but appear real to enemies. The first, Tricky Terrorist, creates a cloud that can be placed off a ledge that the enemy will perceive as real solid ground. And the second, Elusive Divider, will create a wall of smoke that you can see
that's awesome
through,
on the
but
bridge
enemy
like
cannot.
that.
The final piece of this puzzle is the Visitant Aura, a technique that essentially allows you to make an astral projection that you can freely move around to scout the landscape for as long as your stamina will allow. You're super vulnerable while controlling the projection, so using Elusive Divider to give yourself some cover while using it in the heat of battle is a good idea. Crucially,
so you use the Elusive Divider, you put up the wall because they can't see through it, and then you set this up. So you could, that's what you just said. So you can scout. I don't know. This seems like a very this seems like it could be a very bad time too playing this, to be honest.
If you're not careful.
Yeah.
Battle is a good idea. Crucially, you can float off ledges, ascend or descend at will, and even call your clone to wherever your projection currently is. I'm sure you can...
Oh, so that's how they're setting that up. I see.
Oh, that's what I was missing. Okay. That's turning you into a full-on strategist at that point. You're moving a cursor to place your...
It would be so fascinating to really just try and get through the whole game as this class, you know?
This is kind of a different game now with this class.
Yeah, completely.
Probably see why that might be useful. When you combine all of these tricks together, I'm sure you can probably see why that might be useful.
I just love that it's not a funny side thing. That's the main combat mechanic.
Yeah, that's not... that's how you're supposed to kill people.
That's how you're supposed to kill people with this class.
Suicide. Suicide class.
That's so funny.
Combine all of these tricks together, the real value of the Trickster comes into view. Before getting into a combat encounter, you can create a clone with effigial incense, use Visitant Aura to scout out an area for enemies and look for any sort of environmental hazards, like a cliff for instance, recall your clone so that it hovers over said environmental hazard.
Because I don't imagine they gave him the full roster of abilities, right?
Yeah, I mean this seems like the bare minimum to even be able to kill anything with the Trickster. That's a good point because we've seen from other trailers that there's a lot of abilities this time around.
Oh, it's hugely expanded, even for just the classes you wouldn't kind of expected from. We know he has that one crazy knocks either an aerial enemy to the ground or just knocks an enemy down.
Oh, with the dragon,
he's got that in his pocket.
The mystical dragon.
Yeah, he summons a smoke dragon. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they could go
Effigial
very
incense,
cheesy.
Use Visitant Aura to scout out an area for enemies and look for any sort of environmental hazards, like a cliff for instance. Recall your clone so that it hovers over said environmental hazard. Place a false floor underneath it with Tricky Terrace, then lure enemies close to the clone and use Suffocating Shroud to send all their aggro towards the clone, and then watch with glee as enemies throw themselves off the ledge in effort to get at you.
Oh, that is so funny. I put the fucking sound effect. Good for you, IGN.
So I guess like, do they need? So I guess you need to have the clone present in order for that aggro to redirect to the like. No.
Yeah,
I'm
otherwise
asking
they're not gonna.
Sorry, I'm asking the question wrong. Like, do you need this here in order for like? Do you need to have the platform here if you have the clone here? In order for
I think so, because like
otherwise
they
they're
may
not
hate
stupid.
the shadow thing, but they're not stupid enough to kill themselves.
Okay, so it's almost like when you have these two out and then you cast Suffocating Shroud, it's like that is part of the the illusion that you're casting on them.
Yeah,
it's like they're aggroed. So if it's nothing, if nothing else is out, you cast aggro, or you cast it and it's like they're aggroed on you, and then it's like if you maybe before or after you put this out, then it's aggro on your clone, and then you can also put this out and it's aggro on the clone, and also their reality is altered to believe that this is here.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I feel like I'm learning jutsu. I'm learning like the jutsu mechanics.
Yeah, it kind of is the
of
jutsu
Dragon's
class.
Dogma. Yeah.
Now, obviously, this is a lot of prep to go through, and it isn't going to be practical in every single situation, which is why the Trickster is also equipped with some other tricks up their sleeves. First and foremost, they are a support class, relying on and substantially
so they can buff
buffing
and
the
stuff.
strength of their pawn party so that they can do most of the heavy lifting.
Okay.
One such buff is Aromatic Resurgence, which supercharges your party, making them hit a lot harder. While I was playing for gameplay capture reasons, I had to make a mental note not to use this buff because my pawns would kill all of my foes before I got a chance to show off any of the more technical tricks of the vocation. The most
Okay, so it's a really strong buff then. I guess.
Apparently.
All right. I guess it wouldn't be so bad if you wanted to just kind of like if you wanted to kind of just sit back and observe how other classes
Yeah, you want to
played.
play like the general playing with his little toy soldiers kind of class.
It honestly might be a good class for like a beginner if they want to just see what like three other
that's
classes
interesting.
do at the same time. Like three other vocations. I mean.
foes before I got a chance to show off any of the more technical tricks of the vocation. The most powerful spell I saw of the Tricksters was Dragon's Delusion, which takes some time to cast, but brings forth an illusion of a dragon that terrifies any enemy that sees it, even large ogres, bringing them down to their knees, giving your pawns ample opportunity to do big damage.
Yeah, that's exactly what we thought.
Most of the
Yeah, it's an instant down.
Okay.
That's
that's incredibly useful.
That's that's great. You just travel with like people that just deal a ton of damage.
It's just kind of broken, honestly, against certain enemies like the
giving
fucking
your
griffin.
pawns ample opportunity to do big damage. Since most of the Trickster's other skills seemed well suited for dealing with small to mid-sized enemies, this was a really nice addition to see as something that could also let them deal with the bigger and badder enemies.
Wow.
The Trickster was not an easy vocation to figure out in just an hour's time. It took me a little
This
while
is just
to fully grasp.
so not what you would expect from a new class. You know what I mean?
No, but it like
So
still
creative.
It still shows like the. I like it because it's an action RPG, but there's action and there's still an RPG in there. Like there's still some strategy, some cerebral. You would have to think a lot for this one. This I bet this is like. I'm trying to think of the ways in which it would have. It seems like it sets you up for success if you can figure it out, but it just seems like there's a high barrier to entry. This seems like one that's going to be like only a few people, like less people are going to be interested in playing initially, but then the people that get into it are going to like wipe the game. I kind of like see how it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
Because if you just figure out how to pull these moves off, like downing a griffin or like any boss, and then as long as you're, and then buffing your pawns, and like let's say you just have a pawn of like three.
Very busted.
Let's say you have a party of 3 warriors or something, and they're just like wailing on them. You could just down the boss instantly. Shreds him. You know? Like,
yeah, I mean, because that's like the weakness with warriors is, you know, like, yeah, especially if you're fighting like a griffin or something, you don't really have any ranged attacks.
Moving around a lot.
Nope, just kidding. You're down with me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so interesting.
Other skills seemed well suited for dealing with small to mid-sized enemies. This was a really nice addition to see as something that could also let them deal with the bigger and badder enemies.
Well with warriors. Yeah.
The Trickster was not an easy vocation to figure out in just an hour's time. It took me a little while to fully grasp the aggro system, avoiding pulling too much aggro and not having a way to get away from the enemies I just attracted, but once it clicked, I found it to be a uniquely satisfying vocation that brought to mind one of the core tenets of Devil May Cry's combat. It's not just about killing every enemy in the room, but how you kill every enemy in the room. It's an intentionally underpowered vocation that's designed to encourage creative thinking to solve difficult combat problems in ways beyond just swinging a weapon or hurling a tornado at it. And it's one that I'm very excited to experiment more with once I've got my hands on the full game. Thanks for watching, and this is just the beginning of our IGN First coverage of Dragon's Dogma 2.
I just really need more info on this.
Check out our 18 minutes of gameplay covering 4 of the vocations.
Like how far do these abilities go
on IGN?
But it looks fascinating. That said, but I just know the vocations in Dragon's Dogma. They have a tendency to like scale to ridiculous highs. So I'm very curious where this one goes.
Yeah, I wanted to go back and look at something. I wanted to see the places where there's like a little bit of extended gameplay. I wanted to see if we can see how much his stamina bar is draining when he does this stuff.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, down there at the bottom.
Yeah, so like if that's the normal, that's the one that just aggroes them. It looks like it's not really. Yeah, is his normal attack to just aggro?
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. That took a chunk out.
That's the big ability.
That's the wave that aggroes everybody.
Yeah, aggro burst or whatever.
And
he's
going to make his clone here in a second. I don't know if he
did that even take any stamina to make the clone. No.
Is the clone free? Okay.
It looks like the clone's free, yeah. It makes sense. I mean, if that's his core thing is taking aggro.
Yeah. That definitely takes a chunk. Yeah, it's free. Look at that.
Yeah. How much does the okay, that took a bit. That's the
It took a couple
what is
hits.
The big one?
You can probably upgrade it, I hope. Oh, wait. Let me see. Did it cost anything to teleport it? No. Okay.
Huh.
All right. All those are free.
Okay. That's cool.
Except for the wave blast. Yeah. Oh, it looks like it hits 360 degrees too.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yep. Free. Okay.
Yeah. What is his like big stun attack? What does that take?
Okay, now that cost.
Did that wall take any? Did it? Let me see.
So. Let me see. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Noticeable chunk. But he's recovering pretty
not that
quickly.
Bad. Yeah.
That cost something as well, looks like. I think. Let me just verify.
Yeah, it seems like about as much as that wall.
Yeah, it's like a 5th or 6th of his stamina bar. Okay. So if all you have to worry about is placing the floor and the wall, and is this free? Okay, this is draining over time.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So you can't be in that mode forever.
Yeah, he'd said for as long as your stamina allows. So it's draining over time. So you gotta, yeah. So okay, yeah, because so this part right here. He said, so you would like get into this position, maybe you put up a wall behind you in case you get jumped, but then you put this guy out to scout around, then you You use him to lure. Did it cost anything for the this astral projection to lure
It
the
didn't look
clone?
like it. Take another peek.
Yeah, you lure the clone for free.
Free. Yeah.
And then you would just have to make sure you cast. You have to get over there somehow and cast the. Okay, so he put his clone out first, then he activated this. I'm trying to wrap my head around the order of operations for this. So, put out the clone, astral project, put the clone down, call the clone down here. Then he comes over. So deactivate the astral projection, walk over.
Yeah, to set
that
up
part's
the
a little
platform.
inconvenient. Maybe you can upgrade. Maybe the upgrades are like you can cast all your spells from
You
your
get to
astral
buff from your-
projection.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be
Interesting.
huge. That would be huge if that's how they
You're
upgrade.
not even in the battle. You're just you're like fucking.
Yeah.
You're like an X-Men at that point. You're just.
That would be so interesting. And it would make sense because they'd save that for the higher level classes that aren't going to like blow all their stamina all at once. So
Okay.
anyway, you get down here, you cast this, then you do the was that another?
That was the aggro burst.
That was the AoE aggro. Yeah, then you do the AoE aggro, and then they all run off the cliff. Okay. It seems like you could like kind of fuck that up or like overcast stuff, and you would be.
There's
okay.
a lot of steps.
You would
yeah.
be. You would be okay with the stamina bar at least, is what I'm saying. Like if you took a little longer, or you had to cast the platform twice or something.
How long do these illusionary things last? Did we ever see one expire, or they just kind of stay there forever?
That's a great question. I don't think we saw one expire, but we haven't really seen any of them in place for more than a few seconds in this trailer. So if they did this right, like this could actually be very. It's probably more accessible than it looks at first because of
I don't think it's that bad. It just looks interesting, you know.
Because of how little stamina it's hogging, you know.
Yeah.
The buff.
Now, what about that? What about that dragon attack?
The
Let me
buff
see that
actually
spell.
takes more stamina. It looks like.
Really?
Than the that must be a good buff.
Hey, that's what I heard.
Yeah, more than the platform. And okay, this thing. Let's. He's winding up. He's winding up. He's winding up. That's a lot of stamina. Oh, it's like half his bar. It's slightly more than half his bar.
Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, that's about what I would expect at least. So
Yeah.
his
But
stamina recovers really fast, though.
It does. Is that like that for all of them? I don't
know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It did seem
Maybe it has
like,
something to do with like your equip load. You know, he's not wearing a lot of shit, so he gets his stamina back more easily.
maybe it also did seem like the Mystic Spear hand, like his stamina came back fast as well.
Okay. Yeah, maybe it's just everyone. I don't know.
But I haven't seen something for like a warrior or a fighter that would wear a lot of heavy armor. I don't know how that would work for them. So
yeah. Okay. Interesting.
I would say that's the one. That was like my big concern in Dragon's Dogma 1 as a new player, which, by the way, we stream every Saturday, 3 p.m. EST time. We'd love to have you join us in chat, except for today when we did the character creator. But
For 6 hours.
for 6 hours for the same amount of time. My problem playing through the game, though, my biggest problem was stamina management for special abilities. And
Jeff,
stuff
we don't
like
want
that.
to forget about inventory management either, do we?
Yeah, but compared to the stamina management, it's because like even with a class like Strider, I was just so prone to button mashing that I would like run out of like moves in the beginning. It got better as I leveled up more and stuff, but I would have like appreciated like a slightly higher recovery rate on the stamina meter, I think. And I think
Your wish is granted.
I think my wish has been granted because that did come back very fast.
Yeah, because now it feels more like about managing the resource and not necessarily like the fucking 15-minute wait after you run out.
Yeah, it's just because it felt like maybe it's just the UI.
It stops you from
smoother, but-
spamming, you know? Like,
Yeah. Well, and it's also like I feel like it could get a cadence going with the way that it's decreasing instead of like, oh, it's just cut down by like half and then it's slowly like regaining. Like that's how it does it in the first game. So probably just another benefit of like a modern game, being able to kind of take advantage of, you know, what's worked in other games since then. But
Yeah.
No, it
Well, that
it
was
looks
pretty neat.
it looks interesting. It just also looks like a completely different game now. You know, that's
Yeah,
another
it
thing.
really. That's a great way to put it. Completely different game. I just need to see the rest of what this guy can do, because you know, if I want to play a class like this, and it does have some cool fundamentals. I want it to lead to something that's just kind of awesome. You know, you could really just go nuts with the illusions in terms of the shenanigans you can do.
I really wouldn't be surprised if this in particular becomes its own meta of like playthroughs that people look up or like engage in and stuff. It's just like the trickster meta for Dragon's Dogma, you know, or like the trickster playthroughs. But at the same time, I almost wonder, like, it seems like the game's fairly balanced in most regards until I look at the trickster where it's so different. So it makes me wonder, like, just how dynamic and distinct are all of these classes, you know? Like,
Oh, geez, yeah.
like, because, like, you know, I'm really excited to play the archer because it seemed like there was a lot of depth added to, like, it's, you know, like more athleticism, a lot of different moves added to the archer's mechanics. And that stuck out to me. And so did the Mystic Spear Hand. And the Magic Archer obviously stands out to a lot of people, even in Dragon's Dogma 1. But I'm kind of wondering, like, are they all kind of like this? Since we've gotten, like, hints at, like, you know, we've seen that they're, like, in one trailer we saw or one IGN video we saw, there was, like, a lot of magic. There was a lot more skills than we thought there'd be for the Magic Archer.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, we see little things. You catch a hint of, like, okay, the archer can, like, do all these crazy, like, acrobatics. The warrior has, like, a timed combo attack. Or, you know, it's kind of making me wonder, are all of the classes like this in their own way, like their own discipline that you could really master?
Their own unique thing,
and the only one that we're noticing it with is the trickster? Or is the trickster just uniquely, like, weird like this? That's what I'm kind of curious.
Well, this one does seem uniquely weird, but I don't know that what you're saying isn't also, you know, true in its own way.
Yeah. Like, is fighter going to be, like, that much different from an archer? Or even is fighter going to be that much different from a warrior? You know, like, maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case. I'm not sure.
Well, on the bright side, we're not going to have to wait that much longer to find out. So.
I know it's right around the corner.
Thank God.
Oh, I'm so excited. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, we'd love to have you subscribe. Dropping a like on the video and sharing with your friends also helps us a lot. Our main thing is we're streamers. We stream every Saturday, 3 p.m. EST time. We like Japanese games, JRPGs, action RPGs, and more particularly right now, Dragon's Dogma. We're going to be beating Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, hopefully, this Saturday, 3 p.m. EST time, and playing through Bitter Black Isle. And then the week after that, I believe Dragon's Dogma 2 comes out, so we'll be switching over to playing that. So, very excited.
Can't wait.
Very excited. But yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out.
See ya.